It's been one of these. It's been one of these years, and first of all, thank you so much for responding on social media. Now we had some similar connections with Will, one of my favourite guys, Will Tong.
Yeah,
You know, he's a Sydney guy, and you know, obviously I've been in. I mean, my background's with finance and business, but more getting out of the finance, just getting to know business owners. And I won't say small business owners, because there's so many people that I've spoken to, and you think they might be small businesses, but it's amazing, you know, really what they've achieved and what they've done and what they've got going on at the moment.
yeah.
And I read a bit of your little bio as well. You've got a good history of helping people with weight loss and personal development. And one of the things that's really got me intrigued, because you read that book, Magic Thinking Big.
Oh,
And
yeah, absolutely. That's one of my favorites, one of my go-tos.
life changer. And it's good. You know, people sit there and go, oh, you know, people, there's always a prejudgment going on in a lot of, you know, there's nothing wrong with self-development. I mean, how are you going to...
You've got to grow. Absolutely. You know, it's so true. Like, you go through school and you really know very little. You get thrown into this world.
Exactly.
And it's like a big system. And then you're trying to sort of find your way and your purpose and not lose your identity. And, you know, it's all about finding your passion and where you thrive and feel alive. And I think when you can help other people, but be in that space that's really in your heart is the key to it as well.
Yeah. And I loved, I was talking to Will, as I said too, and a lot of there's a common thing that goes around that, you know, people in self-development and particularly business owners, when you start to see and you ask the questions of when they finally started to realize their business was going well. And it's interesting, the comments always come back to, they've either had someone that was mentored them, they've either had something where they've just related to, and whether it be a book, a podcast, or a person, but it's themselves that had to make that change first. And it wasn't until they made that change that things started to happen, because so many people go, I'm going to start a business, but are you ready for a business? You know, are you ready for that?
Yeah, most people aren't. And I've sort of ventured in online businesses that had very little startup, had all the support, but it was really up to me to go out and share the opportunity. Yeah. And I think everyone should learn to do that. There's so many great businesses online that have that. There's no risk, no cost or anything like that, but it develops you. And most people, they hate what they do. They hate their, let's say, 9 to 5 and everything. And they give this kind of thing a go. And then they start ghosting. They go really quiet. They had a little bit of rejection, and that's it. They're off.
And then they quit. And it's a shame, because there's so many, I mean, irrespective of what opportunities are out there, so many people attack an opportunity. But what they're really failing to realize is it's, you know, money doesn't grow on trees. Overnight success doesn't happen. It's a thing that's working on. And a lot of people don't realize that the amount of effort that's gone in, and failures, and I'm saying that in a good way, for them to actually go, you know what, they don't see the people's success, what they've actually been through. And this is just so common. And you know, people sit there and go, oh, you just think everything's wonderful. I go, you know what, it's, you know, there's a lot of unwonderful things out there, but it's how you actually perceive it.
Absolutely. A bit of resilience goes a long way in life, definitely. And I say to people, like, I mean, my journey started when I had my child and I was a single mom, and I was personal training. I was in a multi-level marketing company at the time. I was so burnt out, but I was trying to think, how can I be a mum and have quality time with my child, yet bring in an income and make something work? So that's really, and I got kind of dragged to an event I really didn't want to go to. And that was my life-changing moment. It was like, wow. And I woke up and I started reading books like Think and Grow Rich, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So I started to learn, you know, you got to break out of those quadrants, but that's all about mindset.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I work with lots of people, and the women can get very emotional, and you know, it's a big roller coaster ride. Men are very different. Men just see the goal and they tend to, you know, just go and do it. But the women have the relationship side, which is really important.
Yeah.
So I find it fascinating, but we're all in this world trying to make it, you know, and and then there's an opportunity, but very few do it, which is kind of, you know, very few achieve in all areas.
Yeah, or they give up too quickly. A lot of them give up because it's not, you know, it's not really there is, you know, whether it's one opportunity or two opportunities, if it becomes too hard, it becomes a time to quit. And that's just the attitude. And you see that, like, I love what you said about school. I mean, I mean, one of the strongest things we should be teaching kids and education is the a subject of self-development, because we don't even recognize it. And it's not until something or a dramatic event happens where you go, you know what, I've got to make the decision which path I'm going to take here. And people just sit there and they're either going to judge you if you say, I want to get, you know, myself personally developed, or, you know, I want to start recognizing things that I might have not handled well in the past. And, you know, if you can recognize that, and then you start to see the difference, people react to yourself. And it's then people start to go, hey, this is actually what I need, because, you know, people want to be happy and, you know, good what they do in life, and sort of achieve and be motivated at work.
Yeah.
And I've just, I mean, it's funny because in my own situation, and I'd love to hear, you've started on your story, so I don't want to stop that. But interesting enough, you said something which just triggered with myself, because work is only if you make it work. It's not a work. I mean, I'm in a job situation where I'm very fortunate to have my own business, but at the same time, I choose to be back in the 9 to 5 because I actually love, I mean, I love doing what I'm doing. Yep. And of course, I'd be a fool if it wasn't for the income. So
absolutely.
I'm not gonna say anything like that. I'm motivated by money.
Who that 9 to 5. It's just I guess this is an expression that has stayed with me, but I think it's awesome. I mean, we've all got to work. Whatever you do, you got to work. I guess my thing is I'd rather do like 11 a.m. till midnight if I had to, you know, or whatever hours. I'll do twice as many. It's just, I don't want to be systemized that I have to turn up at work. That's just me. If I'm told I have to turn up at work at this time, I feel rebellious. It's like, I'm not going to do what you say. I want to do this, you know, and I'll work double the hours as long as I can do it when I want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. You make that decision. Tell us about you. I'd love to know more about you when you went into the well-being, the lifestyle well-being, you know, helping other, is it men and women? Obviously with helping them with weight loss, and a lot of it has to do with psychology. You've done a bit of work with psychology yourself.
I guess, it's interesting actually, isn't it, when you think back to it? But I guess when I was 16, my parents split up when I was 4 months old, but I think they went through the course for about 14 years. And then I think I moved with my dad. But, you know, we were just two completely different lifestyles. We'd stay with my dad on the weekend and my mum during the week. And I always had these sort of not food problems, but, you know, with one of the parents, I wouldn't be eating. The other had an abundance of food. It was like, and I was growing up and I got to 16 and I actually put on some weight. Yeah. And I didn't feel good. And I started reading books and I tried to learn myself, well, how should I eat and what should I do? So that was kind of, I guess, my journey of, you know, I wanted to live a really long life as healthy as possible. And in this world, they categorize you like, when you're this age, this is going to happen. And I'm in my 50s. And I said to my son, I'll still be doing the splits when I'm 100, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and you feel good.
If you tell me at this age, I won't be doing this, I'll just rebel. And so I just kind of, had that fascination about how can we stay healthy and, you know, vibrant all our life. That was my goal always, to do that. And I think then going down these other paths, I thought, well, life's, and it's all about balance. So it's sort of finding a passion, having success, having great relationships, being healthy, being vibrant, and attracting the sort of people you want to be around and the kind of team you want as well. Yeah. So I guess that's my thing. I always, you know, at 16, I decided to stop eating meat, and I just decided to, just my choice, you know, like how could I do that? So I've kind of found what resonates with me and my values and how I feel my best and how I have my best energy, I guess, if we're talking that way. So that was just one of my passions, health and freedom. If you ask, what am I about? And having fun and nice friendships, nice, you know, connections in life.
So important. And as far as, you know, when you're talking about your coaching, and what are the things that the sort of the basic principles when someone comes on board with you, as far as, you know, wanting to get into that better lifestyle, as well as not just physically, mentally, And obviously there's so many factors of, improving yourself. What are the main areas that you target for a new person that would come in to say, hey, I need some help? Where would that be? Where would you
It's
start?
really good asking them some questions, and where are they at? Why is that important to you? And just finding out, like, even if it's weight loss, it's usually something else that's going on.
Yeah, mentally or
yeah, and something happened, and then they're low self-esteem. A lot of women have a lot of, by this age, have unfortunately a lot of low self-esteem issues and guilt and all of that. So a lot of it, I do a lot of yoga or things like that, but a lot of it is just finding what that is, and just being a friend to someone and listening and asking, and what are your goals? How do you see yourself? And giving them, I just think people crush people in life, and you got to give people that belief as well, like anything's possible, and what can we do to change it. So it's not even about the food, it's not even about anything, it's just getting them to have a vision even of what they want, and letting go of lots of things, because it's usually something toxic, or a toxic relationship or something in whatever field it is that's blocking the person, and they don't feel worthy. So I think for women, a lot of it is just feeling worthy and getting them back to loving themselves again.
Yeah, and that it's so important. And what I love, I've been speaking to a lot of male business owners, and as you said, male and females think, as the reason we're so different is and attracted most importantly to each other in sort of whether it's business, personal relationships, whatever, is because of those opposites, and to understand those opposites. And we see there's a misconception of successful men out there. There's so many successful women, and it's interesting from your point of view. What are the key things that you took in? Because I notice women tend to be a lot more nurturing when it comes to people, and obviously, like with your networking, you would have been obviously successful with building the nurturing relationship and understanding people's emotion, mental side of things. So there's a clear art form in that, and it's not stuff that you're just born with. You've obviously developed that and by working on yourself. So what are the things that you found?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it is self-development, and it is life. Like, you got to be in life, playing life, and you experience so many things. So how do you get back up from your own experience as well? And then it's funny, most people that come into your life are like a mirror. They're there for a reason. And like, wow, that's so, like, I get you. I've had the same experience, so it's just I love people, and I love learning about people, and most people only see 10% off. So I love going deeper and really finding out what drives them, what are they about, what holds them back. I actually just got a call to someone that wanted to quit something I'm doing, and I said, like, we just had a really good talk, and he's back on fire. He saw, people just go through that in life. So yeah, I hope that.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, and because obviously what you're saying is you're working with so many people, sometimes it's the necessary side that they need to hear is that reassurance that they can do it. So many people tend to give up on things so quickly, and it's not until they have that little voice.
It's true. They do. And I remember last year, COVID had just hit, and I was trying to build my business, organically, and everyone was just kind of being quite critical. It was really challenging. And it was like, right, I wrote down who I needed. I wrote down the car I'd get at the end of this goal, I all the things I was going to get, and I just wrote it down, and it was like, right, I'm ready. And I remember going to an event, and there was a property event, and there was a guy speaking. He turned over 65 million a year, and I thought, I want him in my business. He's good,
Yeah.
And I stood up there and I did a little pitch for about 40 seconds, and he looked at me and goes, I want to see what this is. And he came in, and I just chose who I wanted to work with.
Yeah.
And I chose people like my level and above. People I could just, my key to life is find people better than yourself and create an awesome team of people,
100%.
And I did it. And I did advance 8 levels of what I was doing, which was kind of unheard of in a month. I think 2 months I did that. And I've never done anything that high achieving before. It was just something I was like, I have had enough. I'm going to do this. And I was so clear on my goals. and I knew the time frame. Everything about the book Think and Grow Rich, I just wrote it down, and I wrote the people that I was going to do this with. They weren't even in my business.
Wow.
I just wrote these names. I could visually picture it, and I could visually feel the end result getting announced of something I'd achieved. So I felt the emotion of it.
Yeah.
And most people just fluff or they give up, but I was clear, and I was like, no, I'm feeling that emotion. I'm going to do this because I'm going to prove to other people that this can be done. And I thought I have to lead the way against all odds.
And there's a lot of confidence behind that. There's a lot of confidence that you give yourself without the fear of what someone's going to say and how they're going to judge you. And that's
I couldn't care less. I could, look, Alex, look, I've been so broke. I remember once I couldn't even afford a coffee, and I love my coffee.
Yeah.
And I thought, I never will be like this again. This is terrible, and especially when you got kids and you just hit rock bottom. And I thought, no one's really coming out trying to hand out anything to me right now. I'm in this fight myself. I've got to, I've got to do this. So I don't care. I couldn't care less. That's another thing with yoga. You just detach. Like, you can't help with people what they're going to judge you by or what they think. You just do your best, and it's about other people, not me. If I can help somebody else, and we work as a team or whatever, then that's what. And you see, it can be quite emotional because you can actually change somebody's life, in whether it's weight loss, whether it's financially, or just getting, them back to like who they were as a child and who is their true identity. Because life can smash so many people.
Absolutely. And look at what we've just been through, as a whole, country itself, all over the world. And a lot of people have we've been forced into an in-home environment, which has assessed a lot of people's decisions on what they want to do for work and where they see themselves. And generally a lot of families and business owners have changed their way of thinking. And some people have exited the industries where they thought they'd be for a long, long time. And one of the things you were saying is not really caring. Well, of course you're going to care what people think, but your confidence in it doesn't matter what you do. So you might be a sales rep, and anyone that's listening to this is going to look at, whether they're in sales or whether they're in business, where you're always talking to people, and to be able to have that confidence and not feel insecure about yourself, that it doesn't matter who you are, who you're talking to, people respect. And I think that's a really big thing that I've learned. It's always good to, like you said, look at yourself and hire, and use that as a not like a benchmark, but it's always, unless you're growing and learning, you're not going to get very far in life, are you?
No. And I say to people, like even my industry, people get started and they go, I'll go ask mum first, and then I'll go ask my friend because she'll join us for sure, And then, you talk about the friend and they're broke, they're stressed out, they're this and that. And I said, they're there for a reason. That's their level of where they've caught themselves up. So not until they're ready, they won't even see this. People don't see it, until they're ready to start looking. So people that generally are, if they're just open to looking, or they're the more successful people are and happy in themselves, I find the more open they are to looking at opportunities.
Absolutely. It's the ones that are normally, and I find this even in finance when I'm talking to new clients and I'm trying to, see if I can get new business. It's the one that generally aren't doing as well, and sometimes they don't like to admit it, are the ones that normally give you the most resistance. But the ones that are actually out there and business is booming and things are going well and they can see a positive, and you can feel that off them, they're the ones that generally want, exactly. It's business energy, and we're seeing a lot of that in what we do today. Like, it's amazing, some of the like I've connected with a number of business groups, just getting to understand and network within businesses to see how we can support each other. And
absolutely.
It's incredible.
It's not about you getting what you want. It's like, how can we support each other?
Exactly.
If there's something I can do for you that might help,
Exactly.
I think in the future, that's how business, it's relationship building. It's not about, hey, what can I make from this person? It's like, how can we all win together? Like, everybody win, the customers, everybody. And that's the key. And I think that's been a big thing of this last year as well, is really reflecting. I think kind of in a lot of ways, it's been like a real reset on that level. Because we really all were going like down the wrong path. I felt like it was just becoming ridiculous the way business world was working, and people were, and it's like, I think people are just a lot friendlier now too, to most people.
Yeah.
So it's been a good reset. It's reminded me of back in the 70s a little bit, how life.
Nothing wrong with the 70s kids. I wish we could sort of go back there a little bit. I mean, like I said, I'm 51 and I'm like,
oh, I'm 51 as well.
It's, I mean, I loved my 80s and 90s, and growing up was the best time. And to try and explain to the younger generation, as gosh, if you know, we went outdoors and played, you know, it was so many things that we were encouraged to talk to people. And, you know, we were always told to, you know, look people in the eye, you know, greet them. And we were with the Mr. and Mrs. of the world. And it's a different generation now. I mean, I think we're the generation that not only looks after our kids, but looks after our parents. And it's a real, it's tough. It's
an interesting time. We certainly are looking after our parents, and our kids are different, you know.
Totally different.
I've got a 21-year-old, so he's awesome, but it's different, you know. At 21, we were different than that, and it's certainly a different world.
So, what's the next stage for Simone? Where do you see yourself, and what encouragement, or not encouragement's a bad word, someone that would be looking at it, say whether it be a person in a situation where they might even need your service, because I know you also do coaching as well. And obviously when we finish, I've got to get some of your links so we can connect people who watch this. They may want to connect with you. But what is the next step for yourself? Where do you see yourself moving forward as we come out of this interesting stage?
Well, it's interesting because one of the business I do is online, and it's based around a wellness shopping club. And it's like fabulous. It's because everybody's going online. Everybody wants to go green, get rid of toxic products, be nicer for the environment, and, you know, share it out and share it with the world, and create an income from, if you're living off the grid or wherever you want to go. And that's the dream. So that's the that's the passion, is just, let's just really share this to the world, you know, because it's fabulous. It's just a lot of us are like, hey, we're a little bit we've done, you know, we've gone to these big chains all our life, and we want to go, hang on, how can we work this in our interest, the way life is now? How can we set up gyms at home, or shop online, or around people that are like-minded, and be careful where we give our money to, you know, or whatever it is. So it's really taking that a little bit bigger. I love weight loss. I love it not as a diet as such. I love just really interacting with people that way and really getting results for them in a really lifelong, healthy, simple. It's simple to do it, and it's simple to do it quite quickly. So it's always going to be health and wellness and freedom in those levels. So it's all going to be online.
Good on you.
I want to educate people that they don't have to have a job, or they can set themselves up to get out of that.
Passive income.
And grow, self-growth. And there's a lot of different things that suit different people, but there's a lot of it's really finding out about the person and giving them some ideas of where to look, because some people just don't know. So that's kind of, I think 2022 is going to be a big year.
It's going to be a great year. It's exciting. And I think a lot of people, I love what you said too, because there are so many people out there that we've always been brought up in that mindset. We go have a job and we go and, you know, earn money. But, you know, this next generation is all about diversification. Definitely. So not just looking at what we do day to day, but giving ourselves those extra streams of income, whether it be investing in, you know, real estate, property, the crypto market, the bank or stocks, whatever you want to do, or
it's kind of
businesses. It is, you know, and people are looking more and more for people to help them in that industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is, like you said, with mentors, you know, there's mentors everywhere. And if you talk to people, most people are so willing to give you a lot of guidance.
Absolutely.
It's really finding those people that have the proof in the pudding as well, you know, in any real estate, crypto, all of that. So it is all about spot on diversity.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely. It's going to be a big year, and I really appreciate you at short notice coming on board. And
thanks, Alex.
You know,
I love that. I love spontaneity.
And look, I'm sure we'll be talking in the future, but I just wanted to say thank you so much, because I know you're very busy. And for anyone that's going to be interested in wanting to connect with you, we're going to make sure that we have all of your connections, and whatever you want to share, we can connect you as well. Is that all right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Alex.